Hi, this is Carl from Nile. You're tuned into Side Jams with Bryan Reesman.
Greetings, everyone. This is Bryan Reesman, host of Side Jams, the show where we talk to musicians about their outside passions and their hobbies. And today we have Michael Poulsen, frontman for Volbeat, as well as guitarist for death metal group As in Hell. Volbeat has a new album, Goat. I think you know what that stands for, although with some of the occult undertones of this album, it has a different meaning as well. But today we're going to talk to you about your passion for boxing. You're a boxing fan.
Yeah, well, I grew up with a father who was constantly watching boxing if he was not listening to the 50s music. So video boxing tapes were constantly running in my home. So yeah, I grew up with a lot of boxing. My father even had a few fights in his young days as a boxer. So yeah, I'm probably more into boxing than I'm into music. So that tells
Really? So when you're touring in the States, especially, are you tuning into boxing matches along the way?
First thing I do when I wake up is going into the website where I get my boxing news and my boxing fixed.
What site is that?
There's different sites that I like to visit. It not necessarily. There are a few of them I don't really like to promote, and then there's others that are truly great. So I've been watching a lot of boxing since I was a kid, and I also know a lot of boxers and been meeting a lot of boxers. It also came to a point where I have to think about if I wanted to start boxing or playing music. I chose music because there were better chances of getting a little bit drunk, and that was not that was not possible going into the ring. Not that I'm drunk these days when I'm performing, that belongs to the past. But being a young man where there was a lot of action going on, I chose music, and I don't regret. But there's a lot of fighters that I'm supporting, and yeah, even traveling a little bit to go out and see those fights.
Are these Danish or American boxers?
They're all over the world.
Is there anybody you can mention, or is it like a?
If we have to talk about some of the old timers that I really, really like, sadly, George Foreman just passed away. Of course, Evander Holyfield. I met Evander Holyfield. Lennox Lewis. I also met Lennox Lewis. Mike Tyson. I met Mike Tyson. And of course, I like Sonny Liston, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, Sonny Liston. The list goes on. Other fighters that I've really been enjoying, if we talk Danish fighters, has been Mikkel Kessler, Gert Bo Jacobsen, Thomas Damgaard, Johnny Bredal, Jimmy Bredal. Those were some of my favorite Danish fighters. Or else, if we talk about modern days fighters, I'm a huge fan of Usyk, Oleksandr Usyk, the undisputed heavyweight champion at the moment. It's definitely one of my favorites. Gennady Golovkin, who seems to be retired now, huge fan of him too. Also, if we just go a little bit back, I love Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, Robert Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tom Hearns, Marvin Hegler, Carlos Monzon, for many years, and still is a huge fan of the Klitschko brothers. They're not active fighters anymore, but they fight for their country now, which make them great human beings, great countrymen, great ambassadors for not only boxing but their country. It's very interesting to see the impact that these two guys have.
Were you boxing as a kid?
No, not really. I was just studying it. It came to a point where, as I said, where I have to choose between boxing or music, and I chose music. So no, I was never boxing. I did train. It came to a point late during Volbeat's career where was drinking way too much, and I can honestly say that I became an alcoholic. And Mikkel Kessler, the Danish boxing champion, who was my friend at that time, we wrote a song for him, The Warrior's Call. He said to me, Michael, it's time for you to put that booze on the shelf and get in good shape. You're drinking too much, you're getting fat, and and mentally it's destroying you. So I was training a lot with Mikkel, and he put up a plan for me how to eat and how to recover, and became a more sober and clean and happy man. And I think
That's an interesting intervention from an athlete, actually, rather than just a friend saying it. It seems like you took it very seriously.
he did, because he was concerned, and he saw all the alarms that was going on. So I can only thank him.
So what is it about boxing that you love? What do you enjoy about the sport?
Uh, First of all, that there's a lot of fighters that's actually said, I didn't choose boxing, boxing chose me. And I think that's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. Uh, they had a call, just as I think I had a call that I was supposed to do music. And then the thing is how they build up their confidence, the mentality, going into the ring, being alone about executing a game plan. They can work with a big team before the fight with trainers and nutritionists and everything they need to do before stepping into the ring. But when they go into that ring, they're all alone. And even though there's 100,000 people cheering them, you hear them say a lot of times, I didn't notice, because they were so locked in. So the mentality of a fighter, the craft, and how they execute the game plan is so interesting. And there's just something very aspiring about seeing a guy fight, not only for the result, but for his life. Fighting to get the right amount of bread on the table for his family. And because some of those fighters back in the days, they were fighting for breadcrumbs. And what a way to do it. It's something very admirable about that.
Even though music is different, did you feel that way when you were younger as a musician? Kind of taking on the world and fighting for your space on the stage and
Yeah, it's you can have a lot of people around you, but uh, you need to execute a plan, and you can have the whole plan up in your head, and you can have people, helping you out with that plans. But when you're on stage, you can kind of feel a little bit alone up there. But that's where the seriousness kick in, and you still have to have fun up there. And of course, you're a unit because you have the other band members up there. But it's something you've been working on for a very long time, and now you have to go up there and execute the plan. It's very interesting. There's certain things that's a little bit similar, but then at the end, there's also a lot of things that are very different.
what was it like when you were training to get in better shape and improve your life? How did he guide you through that?
Absolutely, and my body was in shock, because it's boxing training is really, really tough, and of course the body has to get used to being on such a pressure and getting back to shape and losing all those kilos. I lost like 25 kilos. Uh, so, but when you start feeling the body getting better and your mindset getting better, your mood getting better, mentally you're getting better, you're getting more happy. Actually, your body is telling you that you've been doing good. You become proud, not only for yourself, but also, my father at that time I was training with Kessler, he was dead. But I always reminded myself about when I was in the gym with Kessler that my father was there in spirit, and I didn't want it to lose face. I wanted to show that I could do it, and I managed to pull it off, and I've been in shape ever since.
I have a friend who likes to work out every day, and even if it's tough, he's like, I think there's always good to have a little bit of pain. He thinks that's a motivator to kind of keep you moving
Exactly,
forward.
exactly. That's the whole thing. Everything with good results needs to hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. We were talking about it in our Grammy interview, the fact that, you were willing to do all the crazy amount of touring, but that does get exhausting when you're doing almost a
Totally,
couple hundred shows a year.
totally. It takes its toll on you, and it's not for everybody. I definitely met people who was romanticizing being in a band and touring all around the world. I said, yeah, okay. uh, and some of those people, we even have in our tour bus. After 3 days, they were they were ready to go to bed with their thumbs in their mouth, and it's it's not for everybody. Psychological, it's a challenge, and because you're away from friends, family, sometimes kids. Uh, I have kids now, and I feel terrible when I'm away from them. So I bring my kids a couple of weeks and my wife on the tour. That's how I reload and recharge and stay sane on the tour. But it's not for everybody, and you have to be you have to be in good shape going up there and doing what you need to do. And um, and you have to be careful not. The best medicine in the world is a good night of sleep. So I think it also came to a point in our career where we were partying way too much, drinking way too much, and suddenly you don't remember the shows, and you wake up, everything hurts inside your body and inside your head. And lucky me, by time I managed to stop, because there are so many bad examples of how not to do it. You saw a lot of great bands who were legendary or about to become legendary partying way too much, and the result of their records and the live show was just. And I just told myself I'm not gonna be one of them, so I have to pull myself together, and I did that. And we're still here, and we still feel inspired and fired up.
That's great. Have you managed to catch any boxing matches when you're on the road in different countries?
No, there was never really time for that, because when we were on the road, some of those boxing fights were pretty much at the same time as we were on stage.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
yeah. So no, that was never possible.
Have there been any good matches that you've seen that were very memorable for you?
Lately or what?
Yeah, any have there been any, yeah, I guess recently, are there any boxing matches you've seen that really stuck out to you
Yeah,
that you enjoyed?
I'm so happy that Oleksandr Usyk from Ukraine is the new undisputed heavyweight champion. Not only is he uh, a great fighter, being undisputed in two weight classes, he's pretty much been mopping the floor with all the cruiserweights, and now he's been mopping the floors with the heavyweights. Not only is he very talented and crafted, he's also a great ambassador for the sport. What he's doing for his country in Ukraine is amazing. He's a great human being. He's very, very inspiring to listen to. Uh, so him becoming the undisputed champion, beating Tyson Fury, was something that I really enjoyed. Um, it's always great to see great people with great results.
Now, you said you've been helping out some. I mean, are you sort of helping some younger boxers financially? Are you like investing in their careers or helping to promote them? I know you mentioned that at the beginning of the conversation.
Um, I'm always been good at when it comes to promoting them, talking about them in interviews or wear their merchandise or stuff like that. Back in the days, I was also invited to the Klitschko fights in Germany,
Yeah.
and I was always ringside supporting them. Uh, and it's Something that I'm looking forward to when I retire from music, it's then I'm gonna travel around the world with my kids and my wife, just watching boxing and visiting whiskey distilleries.
Well, I hope they're going to enjoy that too.
Yeah, they have to.
They have to. Um, is there anything from boxing that you've applied to your stage performance?
uh, well, we have this song called "The Warrior's Call," which was a song made for Kessler. But sometimes when it's getting really tough up there, and maybe you haven't been sleeping for a week, uh, and you have thousands of people looking at you, and there's no way you're gonna give up now. These people have been waiting for you for months, and so it can be inspired. It's just when you see fighters where you think, oh man, he's going down now, he's going down, and he managed to find that magical thing inside himself where he turn it around and do a good boxing performance. I can definitely use that when I'm up on stage and I say, oh my God, now I actually feel it both in my body and my mind that you haven't been sleeping for a week. You need to find that spare tank with that magical stuff so you can pull it off. So of course you're always full of a lot of adrenaline, but that can be very inspiring when it's getting tough up there.
Is there anything else we should know about your boxing passion? Is there anything that
Just I don't know. It's I think it's great support great fighters like Oleksandr Usyk, because he's not only fighting for his own career and his family, he's also fighting for his country in Ukraine. So people check out Oleksandr Usyk. You would definitely be inspired by a good man.
and who knows, maybe you'll become a boxing manager later.
Who knows?